on today's show.
Hayward's healthy and Kung Fu Kyrie is back, but are the Celtics the best team in the East?
Is LeBron still the NBA's best player? Duh. Who will win Most Improved Player? Can Harden repeat his scoring chant?
And what will be this season's hottest new fashion trend?
Part 2 of the starters' 50 burning questions starts now.
Good evening, Sweet World, and welcome to part 2 of the starters NBA season preview. I'm J.E. Skeets, and alongside me, as always, that's Tas Mellis.
Thank you for joining us.
To his right, the international man of mystery, taking it to the max, Lee Ellis.
Friend.
Lele. And last, certainly not least, down yonder, that's the bearded one. That's Trey Kirby.
Hey-yo!
Hey-yo! All right, we're continuing to tackle our 50 burning questions about the upcoming NBA season. If you missed part 1, well, you missed 10 questions. Go catch that on YouTube. But we got 40 Qs to go here, so let's roll right in to question number 11 overall. It's a good one. Who is the best team in the Eastern Conference? Which squad is it?
It's got to be the Celtics.
Got to be the Celtics.
Yeah. Even though the Raps won 59 games and have Kawhi Leonard on their team, I think they had a better offseason than people are giving them credit for because Kawhi, I think, will be Kawhi again. Just look at that Celtics starting five. Just look at those 5 guys. They can all handle. They can all shoot. They can all pass. They're just so skilled with a great coach, with some continuity from last year. They had the best defense in the league last year to go along with this great offense I think they'll have this season. And that was with only 4 returning guys last year.
The biggest question for Brad Stevens is trying to get everyone shots and everyone minutes.
Yeah.
Because last year they were obviously short-handed for so long, and they got to the conference finals and really just fell 1 game short.
That's a good problem to have, though, because especially in today's NBA, someone's going to go down with an injury.
Yeah.
Hopefully not Hayward or Irving again, but someone will at some point.
And it is a good problem to have, but remember, everybody wants to go and get their minutes and gets their looks. A guy like Terry Rozier, who was very good for them down the stretch, he's going to take a big step back this year. So how he handles that is going to be a test of him and a test of Brad Stevens. But I agree with Tas. I think the Celtics are the best team in the East until someone can knock them off now that LeBron's gone west.
Yeah, I would agree. I do think that, though, that the Sixers could possibly make a jump just because they have so many young guys who are such key pieces for their teams. It really takes me back to, like, the Oklahoma City Thunder. They lost the first-round series once they got Ibaka and Harden, and then once those guys have been in the league for 2 years, Kevin Durant was in his 4th year, they went to the finals. You never know when guys who are this talented, this young, are really going to click and learn how to play well together. Fultz and Sarge are the keys. Those are kind of the Harden and Ibaka of this team, with Westbrook and Durant being obviously Simmons and Embiid. If those Simmons and Embiid take a step forward and Fultz and Sarge are able to do even more this year, I think it's possible the Sixers could end up the best team. We just kind of wouldn't see it coming.
Fultz has looked good so far in preseason. He's obviously been working on his shot, stepping out.
He couldn't look much worse. I'm sorry, but he couldn't.
No, but you know what was important? Actually, just seeing the confidence with him out on the court, which is really important because that shot looked so ugly last year. And if he can be the number 1 pick that they thought they were getting in 2017, then that is a huge upgrade for that team.
With apologies to Bucks fans, maybe Pacers fans, even in the mix, it does feel like a 3-team race here, right? For the best team in the East. Celtics, Raptors, Sixers. I will make a case for the Raptors because I think if Kawhi is Kawhi of 2 years ago, well, then that's the best player from all of these teams. Hands down, that would be the best player in Kawhi. You know, you talk about the Celtics' depth. The Raptors are right there. This is still a deep squad. They have a lot of guys that can play solid minutes for them. A couple different looks we'll probably see from Nick Nurse, the new head coach. And, you know, we keep talking about a lot of times about, like, Tatum should take the next step. Jaylen Brown should take the next step. Well, why not some of these Raptors guys, too? You know, OG Anunoby, Siakam, Van Vliet even, right? These guys are young guys. You know, the one knock is they got a rookie head coach. What does Nick Nurse do with the squad? Brad Stevens already considered one of the best coaches, so that's a little plus there if you're in the column for the Celtics. But I think it's going to be a tight race there for the number 1 pick. I don't think either of these teams is going to run away with it.
Yeah, I don't think the Raps are going anywhere after winning 59 games. I think Kawhi will be back to Kawhi, the 3rd best player in the league a couple years ago. I think he just loves basketball too much to sort of just fade away. He's just such a good basketball player. And yeah, I agree. I think they'll have the best player in the Eastern Conference. It should be them and the Celtics to me. And I think a lot of people look at this Raps team and say, oh, they're kind of like the Hawks from a couple of years ago when they won 60 games. They had their chance last year and they're just going to fade away. But I think they're different now because Kawhi Leonard is there.
Yeah.
So they've got a sort of a rejuvenated core top of their roster instead of just running it back with DeMar and Kyle again.
By the way, Cavs forward Tristan Thompson, he might have something to say about all of these picks. They're still the Eastern Conference champs,
He's
the
not wrong.
Cavaliers. Yeah, taken away from them. He's not wrong. Technically,
Another few months.
he is not wrong. All right, let's hear from you guys. Jump on Twitter, hashtag the starters with all of these questions. Our next one, it's an award-based question. Who wins Most Improved Player of the Year? Let's just show you our picks right away, and then we can break them down. We got two Pelicans here from Trey and Lee. Trey has Drew Holiday. Lee's got Julius Randle, the new Pelican there in New Orleans. Tass goes Miles Turner, and I go with Aaron Gordon. Some trendy most improved picks there. I think we would all agree. But let's start with you, Trey. I think yours is most surprising. Why Drew Holiday for MIP?
Honestly, I would be surprised if Drew Holiday actually wins MIP this year. He's going into his 10th season. He would be the second oldest guy to ever win MIP behind Daryl 10 Cups of Coffee Armstrong. But after a really solid regular season, he came into his own in the playoffs last year. 23 points a game, 6 rebounds, 6 assists, 51% shooting. His usage rate went up, and he really put himself back on the map, I think, as a guy who can be in the top tier of point guards. He's been a solid player early in his career. He was an all-star, but last year, seeing the way he played when the Pelicans were playing fast, it looks like he can make another minor jump. This would be a guy going from solid to star, and I think that's possible for Drew Holiday.
Solid to
playing
very
faster.
solid.
No, that's you. That's you. Stay out of here.
You go with Randall. though.
Yeah, I'm going with Julius Randle. I think this is a really good opportunity for him in New Orleans because he had a pretty good season last year for Los Angeles. 16 points, 8 rebounds on 56% shooting, but it was kind of lost because the Lakers were so bad. Now he gets an opportunity next to Anthony Davis to really highlight his skills. I think he's a good passer. If he can develop some sort of a three-point shot, then that really opens up his game a lot as well. So I don't think his numbers are going to jump off the screen like they were last year from 16 and 8, but I just think he might have more impact and more people might notice what he's doing on a team that should be in the playoff hunt.
All right, a couple good picks there with the Pels. I like Miles Turner of the Pacers to take a jump because he's been in the league 3 years. Had some injury problems last year. He has not lived up to expectations in a league that should be his. The league should be eaten out of the palm of this guy's hand because he's a big that can defend on the perimeter. He can shoot the 3-ball. He should, he's quick. He is an athletic big. That being said, he hasn't been right, and I think what's different from last year to this year, when I picked him to be most improved last year, is that he's getting cut. He saw what Victor Oladipo did last year and how he transformed his body.
It worked for him.
And Miles Turner, I think, just saw that and said, okay, I'm going into a contract year. Another reason why he could be most improved player. He got all cut up, and he saw what it takes to improve from Victor Oladipo. I think Victor Oladipo had a huge impact on that team, the way he just took control of that team. So I think Miles saw that.
Going back to back with the Pacers for most improved.
Sure.
Very, very. I'll go Aaron Gordon, as I said. Sort of similar, I think, in ways to Turner. He just turned 23. He's going into his 5th NBA season. He's secured his bag. He got paid 4 years, $76 million during the offseason. So he's the face of the franchise for the Magic. And he had career highs in scoring and rebounding, assists and steals and all that, but his efficiency took a hit last year, so he's got to get that back. But you remember, the first 20, 25 games last year, he was on fire. And then injuries caught up to him. He had a concussion, then he had a calf sprain, then he had a hip flexor. That really took some shine off his solid start to the season last year. So if he can come out of the gate hot again and keep that going, maybe even get the Magic sort of at least in the weird playoff race where that is the Eastern Conference. I don't think it's going to happen, but it's the East. Doesn't take a lot of wins. He might get some play there for most improved. I'd like to see him take it to the next step, and I think they expect that from him.
Well, they
obviously
give him
with
money,
the contract and just being the face of the franchise.
Because remember, they were kind of dangling him in trade talks as well.
Yep.
So it was quite a turnaround to then give him that big contract and say, we want you to be the guy who delivers for this team.
And he's playing the right position, which helps.
That's absolutely right. All right, next one here. Question 13 overall. Which player or team has the highest worst of the year potential? I turn to you, Tass. We hand out worst of the week every week, and then someone gets a worst of the year. Who's got the potential this year?
Yeah, the dishonor this year. Here are my top 3 picks. I think there's a few teams that could definitely take it this year. We'll start with the Washington Wizards. They had a tumultuous locker room last year, and then they added Dwight Howard and Austin Rivers to that mix. Could it be worse than last year? I don't know. I don't necessarily think so, but
It could.
There's a possibility. The Lakers, a bunch of characters, as we know, Lance, JaVale, Rondo, and this has already happened in the preseason. Look at Rajon Rondo on the bottom of the screen.
I love it.
This is the preseason. He's not letting other guys high five. I think they'll be all right in the locker room, but this kind of stuff, you can win worst of the year for that kind of stuff. And the Sacramento Kings also get a vote just in case Vlade Divac decides, hey, we're going for it, and trades all his young guys for somebody in his 30s that isn't really going to help them. They could win worst of the year for that, and I could see Vlade taking a chance. They've won it before, the Sacramento Kings have. 3 options: Wizards, Lakers, I don't think the Lakers are going to be bad in the locker room because LeBron will control that, but maybe on the court. And then the Kings for off the court front office stuff.
Wow, the Kings would be the first ever to win Worst of the Year.
Twice.
Because they won it a couple of years
Undoubtedly.
ago. Okay, so it's in play. Do you like one of those teams more than the other?
Yeah, I think the Lakers for me, but there could be some comedic genius out of that team as well. I mean, I think we're just going to see every day there's going to be something worth watching, whether it's in the locker room or on the court or on the team plane. Who knows?
Do you prefer calling them Mud or the meme team for that Lakers bench?
I mean,
LeBron
I feel like
called
we
them
have a
Mud.
little ownership over
Yes.
the meme team, but it's too good. It's so much better than Mud to me. And plus, JaVale McGee came up with it. It's perfect.
All right, let's hear from you guys on Twitter, #TheStarters. Who do you think has that Worst of the Year potential? Who just screams it to you? We got to take a break. But when we come back, the burning questions, they continue, including whether LeBron is still the NBA's best player. Don't go anywhere. Into the up-down report as our 50 burning questions continue. Let's hear from you guys on Twitter, #TheStarters. Thumbs up or thumbs down with these ones, guys. First one here in the up-down report. Is LeBron still the best player in the NBA? Thumbs up or thumbs down? Everybody.
We're still doing it. We're still doing it.
Yeah, no one's better than him, are they? There's a lot of really good players in this league, but if you were to have one player to pick, everyone would still pick LeBron. He won't be forever. He's probably only got another year or two left with this title. But for right now, he's definitely still the best player.
You can't make a case for a Durant
You can
or
make
a
a case.
Giannis or an Anthony
You
Davis.
can make a case for sure.
I think Lee makes a good point. If you're talking about one game, you're definitely picking LeBron. We just saw playoff LeBron literally dominate the entire playoffs. I think he averaged 100 points a game and hit 16 game winners. That may be off, but in the regular season, he picks his spot. So I think you can make a case in that scenario for Kevin Durant being the best player in the game. He can do everything that LeBron can do. He just doesn't necessarily have to do it as much. Over the course of a season, maybe Kevin Durant is the better player, just for a full 82 games. But if you're talking one game, you want LeBron.
Agreed, yeah. Kevin Durant might have the better season this year in terms of numbers. LeBron's numbers might take a step down a little bit with everybody else handling the ball, but LeBron in a playoff series, you take him. He takes off possessions throughout the league. I think KD offers a little bit more defensively, and this might be the last year that you give him the title because he is 4 years older than Kevin Durant.
Right.
It will happen at some point. LeBron will get old at some point, but doubting him now is just pointless.
Okay, next one here, guys. Are you up or down on the New York Knicks making the playoffs? Are they getting back into the dance? Whoa, wow, everybody going down, even in the Eastern Conference.
If they had Kristaps Porzingis for the whole season,
Yeah.
I think they're definitely in the mix, but he is their best player, and he's the future of their franchise, and clearly he's their biggest concern. There's talks about him coming back maybe in February, but even then doesn't seem to be set in stone. They're taking their time with Kristaps. They got their draft pick next year. It behooves them to be bad this season, so no rush.
But you're saying
Kristaps back.
if Porzingis was there on opening night, that maybe you could talk yourself into it. But
I can definitely talk myself into it. Would it happen? I don't know, but the Knicks were a lot better when he was on the court. 17th in defense. When he was off the court, 30th. It's that easy.
Yeah, not only that, when he does come back, he's probably going to take a little bit of time to get back. But I actually like the move of Dave Fizdale as their head coach. I think he's the right coach for this team. So it's going to be a tough year, but the Knicks do sort of have some, the horizon is brighter, especially with young rookie Kevin Knox coming along. I think he's going to be a good player. So it's going to take some time, but the Knicks are at least not as bad as they've been in years gone by anyway.
I don't think there's a chance with Kristaps Porzingis out, and they want to keep Kristaps Porzingis out. I think they understand we got to be bad. They finally said, for the first time, we're not trading our draft picks. And do GMs ever say that? I think this is like a first. I mean, they literally came out and said, we know that you can pick holes in our 18-year past, the last 18 years, but we're not doing it this year. It's not going to happen. They understand. Let's be bad. So I think they want to be bad.
Yeah, that's possible.
Kristaps should sit out until March, April. Take as much time as possible.
Well, that will be interesting to watch, I think. How are the Knicks flirting with 500 somehow when the idea of Porzingis could come back, and do they want him back and trying to get into the playoffs? Or are they horrible, can't rack up the wins, it's all about development for your young guys and Robinson and Knox and Frankie Smokes, and do they just say, you know what, no rush at all with KP? I think both of those are in play. It just depends sort of on their record when we get to around the All-Star break when they're hoping he might be able to come back.
Frankie Smokes.
I love calling him Frankie Smokes. All right, next one here. Are you up or down on James Harden repeating as the NBA scoring champ?
I think I'm down.
I'm down. Yeah.
Down. Trey says, why not?
Exactly. Why not? He's still in his prime. He's the MVP. He led the league in scoring. The system hasn't changed. He's still going to have the ball in his hands all the time. They lost a little bit of scoring, the Rockets did, in Trevor Ariza and Luke Mbah-a-Moute. It's 20 points. Surely Carmelo Anthony will take a couple of those, but I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility that Harden puts up 30 a game again this season. That's incredible. Nobody can guard him.
Yeah, no, I think he can easily get to 30 a game. I think Anthony Davis, though, might be this is the year where he decides to take over. He was pretty close there last year. He was fantastic in the playoffs. So I think maybe that Anthony Davis just sort of puts his stamp on the league this year and gets that scoring title. But who knows? I mean, in Houston, even though they've added Carmelo, I agree that it might not actually affect or impact James Harden's offensive game in a negative way at all.
Harden has won everything now, other than in the postseason. So I think he realizes I got to lay off a little bit because he gets gassed in the postseason each and every year. So I think his numbers will fall a little bit, and that doesn't bode well for plus 30. I think 26, 27, which is plenty for them. They'll be fine offensively without him scoring a ton. I think Giannis' season starts now. I think this could be his MVP season with Mike Budenholzer. That is their big offseason acquisition. Mike Budenholzer, the Bucks head coach, I think will unlock Giannis a little bit. It's funny to say Giannis was locked and not a great version of himself last year because he had 27 points per game. But I think this year you'll see more movement. You'll see more freedom with that Bucks offense, and Giannis will score a ton. I think he could be 30+.
Those are two solid picks in Giannis, Anthony Davis, maybe Harden again. Let's hear from you guys on Twitter. # the starters. One more here in the up-down report. This is a fun one. Up or down on Tony Parker looking the weirdest in his new uniform, more than anyone else in the league.
Yes.
Thumbs up, and thumbs up. There are some strange ones, but Tony Parker, because he played so long
I thought
with
he
the
was
Spurs, now he's in a Hornets
I
uniform.
just couldn't believe he actually left the San Antonio organization because honestly, I thought they were going to just change the rules for him and say whatever you want to stay. Tim and Tony and Manu and those guys would just stay Spurs for life. So seeing him in Charlotte is very, very
he's
weird.
also going from black and silver to white, teal, and purple. It's such a huge change. Also give a quick shout out, though, to DeMar DeRozan. I was shocked seeing him playing his first preseason game with the Spurs wearing number 10. I think that's the big thing to me is that Dennis Rodman is always going to be the Spurs number 10. And DeMar DeRozan, he doesn't have green hair, I've noticed. Sort of a similar thing to wearing the red uniforms with the Raptors. Now he's going monochromatic and white and black. That threw me off.
You ultimately go in with Tony Parker being the weirdest, though?
I agree with the Spurs because they are neutral colors. Anytime you change jerseys, it's louder than white, gray, or black, or camouflage gray.
Well, let's hear from you guys. Again, jump on Twitter, # the starters. Who looks weirdest in their new NBA uniform? What about Melo? Melo in the Rockets? Not a big deal because he's played on a couple teams over the last couple of years.
And he's buds with those guys as well, So.
Didn't take that into consideration.
He's friends.
My bad. All right, when we come back, we will step into the crossfire. Tass versus Trey. They're going to debate, or at least try and build, the perfect NBA dunk contest field.
Come get it.
At least get it started. Don't go anywhere. Crossfire. Here's how this bad boy works. The champ will take on the challenger in 3 rounds of questions, and at the end of it all, I'll declare a winner. As always, the Crossfire belt is on the line. Ready, gentlemen? Here we go. First question, number 18 overall. It's another award prediction. Who do you have winning Coach of the Year? Here we go.
I've got the Bucks' Mike Budenholzer. He is Milwaukee's big offseason pickup, and he picked Milwaukee over Toronto because he wants to unleash the Greek. And I think he's going to surround him with shooters, so sort of like he did in Atlanta. Ersan Ilyasova was a guy he had high on his list. He went and got him. He got Brook Lopez. He hasn't had a good team to coach in a couple of years. I'm going Mike.
Mike won it a few years ago. I'm going with Quinn Snyder, perhaps the Mike Budenholzer of the Western Conference. I see the Jazz in the mix for a top 4 seed out west, and despite the fact that they have the Defensive Player of the Year and Donovan Mitchell, they're kind of considered a starless team, and when that's the case, the coach gets a whole bunch of credit. Quinn Snyder gets a lot out of role players like Royce O'Neal. Jay Crowder was better when he got to Utah. So I can see Quinn Snyder putting together a Budenholzer 2015 sort of case out west with the Jazzies.
Oh, we got a Bud and we got a Quinn. Nice start here.
That's
All
right.
Next one is a starters classic because we need your help in building the ideal NBA dunk contest. Who is your one must-invite dunker? Here we go.
You know, a big guy is going to win the dunk contest again someday, and that's why I'm inviting the Atlanta Hawks' John Collins. He's a great jumper, he's got a great personality, and he's not so big that it doesn't look like he's jumping high. He still looks like he's flying through the air. He's a slender guy. The other thing I like about this is if we get John Collins in the dunk contest, maybe he'll get some advice from the greatest dunker of all time, Vince Carter. Imagine those conversations out on the court. Imagine John Collins jumping over Vince Carter or somehow dunking Vince Carter. I don't know if it's possible. Let's see.
Okay, who you got?
All-Star game in Charlotte this year. I'm going with Charlotte's Miles Bridges. He's shown in the preseason. He's got some ups. He's shown some great stuff. Now, he doesn't have a lot of dunks. He's not extremely versatile looking back at his Michigan State days, but I like that. I don't like a guy who's got a lot of dunks and just waits for the second round. That's a huge mistake for dunkers. Less dunks is better. Bring it in the first couple dunks. Nothing worse than an arena that gets the air sucked out of it. Plus, Rich Paulus, his agent, that helps.
Okay, all right. All right, here we go. Final one. You guys are the new 4-pins, all right? I want to know what will be the season's biggest fashion trend. Here we go.
We're talking fits, all right.
Yeah.
I think a trend that's been happening in the NBA is a lot of accessorizing. A lot of bracelets, necklaces, fitted clothing. I think we're going to keep it simple. Loose Hawaiian shirts. And I actually made this pick before I saw the Clippers coaches pull them out.
That's good look.
I thought to myself, coaches are doing it. It's not going to happen, but they're still pretty cool.
Well, you mentioned fitted clothing, Tass. Off the court, things are getting baggier and weirder in the pants region. I'd like to see that be the case on court as well. Give me some TJ Ford gigantic shorts. I want to wonder how you even dribble through your legs. This is what it was like in the early 2000s. You didn't see anybody's kneecaps. Let's bring that back. I'm out on kneecaps.
Good battle, good crossfire battle, but in the end, I gotta give it to my man Trey Kirby because I used to dress like TJ Ford when I was in high school.
That's right. Big belts, big shorts.
All right, TK gets the win. Lots more still to come. Back in a second. Solid doubleheader preseason action tonight on NBA TV. We got the Bucks and the Thunder getting away at 8 p.m. Eastern, followed by the Nuggets and Clippers. So enjoy those games. Getting close to the real thing, obviously. Coming up tomorrow, though, is part 3 of the Starters NBA season preview series. We'll tackle such questions like which team had the best offseason? Are the Pelicans better without DeMarcus Cousins? Ooh. And will the Wizards regret signing Dwight Howard? Ouch. So that's part 3 tomorrow at 5:30 p.m. Eastern. Before we go, can we please see those TJ Ford in his giant shorts? That's unbelievable.
Yeah, he was a short guy, but...
Those are shorts for a 7-footer.
Yeah, they have to be. They have to be.
All right, so we'll see you tomorrow at 5:30 p.m. Eastern for part 3.
Thanks for joining us, and remember, 20 questions down, but 30 to go. Check them out.
Brace the night, people.
Yeah.